You?
Well, it's important. These are the only two passages of the Bible that really talk about what kind of death was brought into effect through Adam's sin. This is the total. And notice how careful Paul is to qualify what kind of death we're talking about. I think it's important to remind people that Paul defines 4 different kinds of death in the book of Romans. Therefore, he is careful to explain in each context what kind of death he's addressing.
What are the 4 kinds of death?
Well, you mean you got death to the law. I mean, you got death to sin. You got physical death of humanity and spiritual death. And the other point of that question you read is this is when spiritual death was visited upon humanity when they sinned. But this text, Romans 5, as you read on, makes it clear that the consequence of that spiritual death was physical death. So it's the physical and spiritual death of humanity that was brought into effect from Adam's rebellion in the Garden of Eden. And the fact that Paul is so careful with the qualifiers means that he intended to omit the plants and animals from this discussion.
Yeah, Walter, if the critics are right, and this is not spiritual death that Paul's talking about in Romans 5, then the snake and Satan were right, and God was wrong when he said to Adam, tell me the story.
Yeah, the day you eat of it, you shall die. But Adam lives for 930 years. So you're going to have a critic come back and say, aha, see that? You didn't die. You meant physical death, didn't you? And the point was he died spiritually, which involved, of course, ultimately physical death. But if you're going to argue from the get-go that it was physical death, then like Ananias and Sapphira in the book of Acts, they should have, boom, dropped dead right there. But they go on and they live to 930 years.